Hello again, everybody. This is Megan, and we are here for This or That Thursday. Here at Rocky Mountain Sewing and Vacuum, we carry the Janome lines, and out of the Janome line, these two machines tend to be the most popular, and so we really wanted to compare the two. We've got the Janome M7 Continental over here, and then right over here we've got the Janome MemoryCraft 6700P, or 6700 Professional. They both are amazing little machines that are semi-industrial, at least that's what I would call them. But what's cool about them is they do have a whole bunch of extra decorative stitches. So they are made for home sewing, doing some of your creative projects, doing extra fancy top stitching, all of that sort of thing. But they both are tanks. They are workhorses. They will go through a whole bunch of layers if you want them to, which is awesome. One thing I do like to point out about both of these machines is if you are a garment sewer, you don't actually have an arm. So if you're trying to do sleeves and stuff, it's a little trickier on them. But I think that is a small sacrifice for the amount of machine that you get when you purchase one of these guys. So let's talk about this or that. So on the Janome M7, there are some features that I think absolutely knock it out of the park. First of which is going to be fairly obvious. It's going to be the size of the machine. The amount of space that's right here is about 13 inches. It's one of the largest in the market right now. So that gives you tons of workspace to play with. If you're working on a big quilt, if you're doing free motion quilting, if you're working on a big garment where you have multiple layers that you have to get through, this guy is going to be fantastic for that because you've got a lot of work area right here. You've also got a lot of work area here where I can almost fit my fist underneath the head right here, which means when I need to change needles or thread the needle or do anything in that area, it makes it a little bit easier for me to work around. It also does have a needle plate that comes up and down automatically. You just press a button on here and it'll lift up for you. And when you're done, you put it down and there's a magnet that grabs it, which is pretty cool because instead of having to click it and hope that you got it into place, the machine will automatically get it there for you. It also has tons and tons of decorative stitches, as we were talking about. And on the screen, you can actually touch it and pick out whichever one you want to do. Of course, it's got Janome's techniques and tutorials as well, which is a little t-shirt on here. And I love that because if you're trying to do specific things such as patchwork piecing, you can tell the machine to measure how many stitches per each piece you're trying to do. So if you're doing a whole bunch of 2-inch squares, it'll do your maybe 2.5 inches to give you a little chain in between. Stop, give you the chance to put the fabric underneath, and continue going. So that is a really fun thing to experiment with this machine. Last but not least, something I love that they put on this machine is this little corner right here. They put a QR code on it. So, I don't know about you guys, but most of the time when I'm sewing, I have my phone nearby. Mostly because I have it playing music or whatever. But if I have a question on this machine, I can pull up my phone, scan the QR code, bring up that link, and it gives me a tutorial page on that page of the machine, which I just think is awesome. Because, I don't know, I sew a lot at 3 o'clock in the morning, and there's not much backup at that time. So I love the fact that the machine has built-in backup if you pull out your phone and you're ready to go. From here, let's move on to the 6700P. So, the 6700P is also going to be quite a tank of a machine. It's a little bit smaller. I believe your throat space here is about 11 inches, and it does have a lot of height. So even if you're doing free motion quilting and stuff, you do still have a lot of workspace, though not nearly as much as this guy. The needle plate is going to be an easy to remove needle plate, but you have to snap it into place. It's not too hard, but sometimes that can get a little scary because sometimes you just have to push a little harder than you think you need to. Along with that, the screen on it is going to be a little bit more rudimentary. So to pick your decorative stitches, you do have to type in the number that you want in the mode that you want it to be. But I like the two little dials on the front of the machine where you can actually change your stitch length and stitch width. I don't know what it is about that, but that always makes me feel like I have a little bit more control when I'm editing that kind of stuff. With all of that, the 6700 does tend to be a little bit popular because it's a little bit easier to take to quilting retreats or classes, whereas this guy, he's kind of a beast of machine. It's a little bit harder to carry. Now, both machines do have some pretty cool things included with them, including extension tables, which gives you a ton of extra workspace over on the other side. So if you are doing free motion quilting, working with a heavy project, it'll lift that up and make it easier for you. And then they come with oodles and oodles and oodles of presser feet. So Janome is not afraid to give you almost every presser foot that you were thinking of that you might want, and both of these machines come with most of them. My personal favorites that they come with, though, are going to be the Janome Accu-Feed foot, which is their answer for a walking foot. And the Accu-Feed foot is awesome because it has the extra feed dogs, but they have a wide one and a narrow one, so you can use your walking foot when you're doing zippers, which for me is huge. It's amazing. They both also have what's called the high performance plate, which is a different needle plate. So if you know of the Singer featherweights, where they only had 2 rows of feed dogs, these emulate that. They have a presser foot for it too, so you can sew and feel like you were sewing on one of those guys. And it's stuck in only straight stitch, but it does a superior straight stitch with that. Both of these machines are awesome. I'm curious if any of you guys have one. If you do, let us know what you think of it down in the comments. And if you're thinking about getting one, look there and ask us questions if you have them. Of course, make sure you're liking us on Facebook, subscribing to our YouTube channel, and checking out all of our videos. And thank you so much for joining me, guys.